Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to SevTech Ages. So since the last episode, I have been very busy building. Very busy building. So out here, I still have to put this section in, but started putting this room together a little bit, and I actually changed all this to MV wire connectors, and then just brought the power around instead of having it run through the center of the room. Also means I can get rid of the transformer, which is good. So... and then I did a bit of building all throughout here. You'll notice there's a lot more pillars that have been added. Back over here, there's more pillars, which of course make it look... I don't know, I love the way the pillars look. I think they really make it look a lot better. Over here, I added additional garden cloches. So, 6 more of these, my bad. 6 more garden cloches. These ones are growing potatoes, because of course potatoes don't actually produce as much as those seeds do. They only produce 80 ethanol. Whereas the industrial hemp seeds produce 120. So I was actually losing ethanol slightly when I didn't have this turned off. And I'm probably going to have to set up some redstone control. Right now I have the power turned off because otherwise it just keeps making ethanol and just wasting potatoes. So I will probably set up some redstone for that, maybe, at some point. Right now I've just got it manually turned off, so... anyways, over here, I have been working on this area a lot. So, we come through here, this room still has a lot to go. But, anyways, worked on mainly this middle section here a lot. Adding pillars and also adding this little area out. Some greenery and some clutter and stuff like that. There's still a lot to do here, but, anyways, just trying to make it look a bit more field, you know. And then if we come upstairs, we have a little pathway that heads off over here, just kind of overlooking this main plaza area, I guess, of this floor. And then off through here, nothing in there at the moment except monsters. So, and then I put windows in, and then if we come over here, this connects into that big empty room. These doors do. We have containment chalices here. We're going to be using these today. I already have one plugged up. Now I noticed that the nodes were not able to pump directly into containment chalices. I couldn't get them to pump water directly in, so I have to have a liquid hopper at the moment. Which that may end up changing. I may build something out here so it's like supporting the chalices and kind of hiding the hoppers. I don't know. I haven't decided exactly just yet. Over here is a breaker switch. This is just feeding redstone over to those 2 containment chalices, so if I want to shut off what's going to eventually be the Cobbleworks, then I can do that at that switch there. And then over here, I've started working on this little area a little bit, kind of like a little scenic area overlooking the plaza from this side, and we have some nice greenery coming together and everything. And then I have some ideas for this area as far as uses, but I haven't settled on it just yet. Originally, this was going to be where the Cobbleworks was, but then I changed my mind and moved it over here to this big open plaza area. So we shall see. We'll see as we move forward with this. So anyways, today I want to work over here. I haven't finished closing this area off because I left it open because we're still kind of using this area at the moment. I did set up an additional tank here. This one's going to hold lava because I want to start working on some liquids today, continuing on with some liquids so we can get that Cobbleworks up and going, which will segue into some automation stuff that I want to start doing. And I'll tell you what, I think I need, yeah, I need a blood orb. Let me go grab a blood orb real quick, because we're going to set up a quick ritual here. Not a very expensive one to set up, and not a very expensive one to run either. Okay, so what we need to do, let's see, to make the master ritual stone, let's go ahead and whip one of these up real quick. I don't have a lot of rune stone or ritual stones on me, but I actually only need 8 altogether. So 1 for the master ritual and then 4 for the actual ritual itself. I'll tell you what, I think I forgot my inventory's a little bit of a mess. We're actually going to make a little bit easier of a way to deal with that today as well. We're going to do a little bit in the sorting building, the warehouse. Okay, so what I want to set up here is a ritual called Serenade of the Nether, which I guess really I don't, well, I need it to set the rune colors. And let me grab something to build with here. I want to set the ritual up just setting right here. Do I want to bring that up? Yeah, let me bring that up by 1 actually. I want the ritual setting right here, the master ritual stone setting right there. And then we'll go ahead, turn this off. Let me select Serenade of the Nether right here. It only requires 4 runestones, But what this thing does is it produces lava. It magically produces lava. So let me get some blocks here. And we're going to place these down like right there. And that's just because it creates the lava on top of the Master Ritual Stone. Then we'll right click it. And there we go. A rush of energy flows through the ritual. So basically we can produce lava here. And it does stay active. But we're gonna augment this to make it a little bit better. I was debating out how I wanted to do the actual collection. If I wanted to do something like what we did with the water. But no, I think I want to get into ritual augmentation. Which we'll use this more as time goes on. But if I was to take a bucket here and collect this, the lava is automatically replaced. And every time that it does that, it consumes about 500 life points. So, I mean, 500 life points isn't really a big deal, I don't feel like. But I really don't want to have to manually do that. Now I want to check one thing here. If I was to put lava in here, this shouldn't be creating anything. Correct? Correct. Okay. I want to make sure the redstone coming through that wire was fine, because I actually hadn't tested that. But if I was to flip this switch now, you'll notice that they're going to start hitting and they're going to start creating things, which we're going to deal with collecting that here in just a little bit. But I also want to get liquid starlight added to the mix as well before we do that. So, which is it's gonna rain down items, but they should be mainly within this little area here. Mainly, there's a possibility they'll pop out, but our collection system, that'll be fine. It'll collect the stuff. So. Okay, so we're producing lava now with Serenade of the Nether, but I want to augment this because of the fact that the only pumping system that we really have for this lava at the moment would be to do another system like this. And I want to do different systems, you know, I don't want to rinse and repeat this same system if I can avoid it, and we can avoid it. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up an item system, and let me grab, I should pop in here real quick. I'm going to go ahead and set up another master ritual, master node. I am going to finish changing this over to Soulforged Steel, but right now I'm using pretty much all my Soulforged Steel that I've been making. I've actually made quite a bit for these candle holders, because they do require Soulforged Steel. 1 1/3 you can get basically per candle holder here, because I'm using 2 per craft, or per setup. Alright, let me go ahead and get an iron block. But I'm trying to focus on the floor of the castle that we're on, trying to really kind of clean that up. I mean, I've got a bit of lighting to do, probably between this episode and next. That'll be kind of the next step that I take with it. But it's come along a decent ways. It's a lot less barren, I think, than it was the last episode, so that's a good thing. Okay, so let's pop down here. I want to make a master node. And I did get most of the stones crafted out for that altar. We will be probably using that. I don't know if it'll be this episode or probably next episode, actually, for a little bit of automation stuff that I want to do. But anyways, master routing node. I actually forgot to grab my input and output nodes. I guess I don't need the ritual diviner and stuff anymore. Huh, I guess I forgot this thing was running and just left it running. Oops. That's alright. It's just been making wheel and like throwing it on the ground. I forgot to turn the lever back off, I guess. So anyways, we're actually going to use this same node system that's plugged up right here. In fact, because I've already got an input and output that's producing. It's producing the raw wheel that we need, and there's a master node input. Where did I put the? Oh, right up here. It's the master node. So actually, we'll use that connection. In fact. And what I want to do is, let's actually just plug into, like, right here. And let's get routing nodes. It's perfect. I'm going to set a routing node right here. And we're going to connect it to there. I mean, see the distance that this can send is actually quite far. It is, in fact, very, very far. So, but let's come out here, and let's put another routing node maybe on the warehouse here. So maybe have a routing node setting right here. So the items get sent all the way up to here. And then we're going to come over here, and I wonder if I could actually just plug this directly in where I need it to go. I don't know. Let's see. Because I mean, I'm not 100% sure the distance that these things can send items. I mean, it's incredibly far. It really, really is. Alright, so let's put... I don't know if I want to bring this just all the way over to where I want it to go. So if we had, like, say, an output routing node setting right here. Wow, can it really connect all that distance? Oh man, okay. These things have like so much transfer distance, it's ridiculous. It really, really is. Like, that's why I think they're probably one of the best item transfer systems, because they're cheap. They are incredibly cheap, and they will literally send items like, I want to say that's like 12 chunks or something between there and over here. It's amazing. Okay, so now that that's ran all the way over there, I'm pretty sure it's going to work just fine. Now currently I don't have any filters set to that line, and I'm not going to add one right now, because it's really only transferring raw wheel is all that it's transferring, and that's what I want to do. So I want to make a new demon crucible, cauldron, lapis, stone, platinum, just fine. Okay, we got our demon crucible. Let me go ahead and get our demon wheel aura gauge, and then I also want to get the ritual tinkerer as well, because we are going to need that. Alright, so let's pop back up here. And I forgot to check to see if this was all in the same chunk. I'm pretty sure it is. If I recall correctly, we looked at it, I think, last episode, or episode before last. But I'm pretty sure that this tank is in the same chunk, or the water tank was right at the edge of that one chunk, so I think that this should be in the right chunk that I want to use it in. The same chunk as the ritual. So let's take a look here. It is. It is in fact in the same chunk, which is great. Let's go ahead and set down the demon crucible right there. And if we watch, we should see, there we go, at the top left, we now have raw wheel within this, this chunk. Awesome. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take the ritual tinkerer, and let's set it to set wheel consumed. And let me go underneath this, actually. Oh, okay, we have to have the crystal on our hotbar. That's what it is. I was thinking they just had to be in our inventory. So we're going to right-click, and it says the ritual will use these demon wheel types raw. So basically, if we just have one of the crystals in our inventory, we right-click, it's going to set it. You can hold shift, and you can read about how to do it. But they do have to be in your hotbar, not just in your inventory. So just a heads up. Okay, so it is now consuming raw wheel that's within the chunk. Within this chunk that we have defined here. So all of this area, you know, which we can see that once again with the demon wheel aura gauge. And then what's going to happen is when it has that wheel type, it's going to first off reduce the amount of life points that's used. So when we have a chunk that's filled with, you know, raw wheel, it's going to reduce it by quite a bit. It's going to be relative to how much wheel there is in the chunk. It is going to consume a little bit of that wheel, but we have wheel automated, so it's not really a big deal. But then in addition, what we can do is we can actually set, oops, wrong, I want the ritual tinkerer again. And we're going to set define area. And then what we're going to do is we can link a tank to this. Let me actually build this back out. We are going to shift right click. Players in this range have fire resist applied. No. Corrosive. Vengeful. Raw. The tank that the ritual will place lava into. And so that's what we want to do. We want to set it to raw. And we want to set, I wonder if this will work. Right click there. First block for new range stored. And then right click. New range successfully set. Okay. Now, let's see, is it inputting lava into this? I don't think so. It's still just dumping it on top. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to work. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to set up some sort of a tank first. And I actually made some BC tanks when I was doing some testing with the fluids. Okay, I think they're over here. Let me go grab them. Or let me go grab one of them. It's just a basic tank made out of glass. They're pretty straightforward. Okay, so this right here, the BC Factory tank. So just 8 pieces of glass to make this. And this will work great because the rustic barrels cannot store lava. I have some of them on me, but those cannot store lava. But that's fine. That's alright. Alright, so we're just going to put this tank setting like right there. And we'll just right click that. There we go, it's getting lava. And can I actually move this to, say, right there? That would be great. Okay, so this tank has filled up with lava. And you'll notice it's very, very quick. This lava production is very fast. Okay, it is going to keep lava on top of that. That's fine. Not really a problem. I could put the tank right there in the Master Ritual Stone, and then, you know, wouldn't put lava there, but guess it's not a big deal. I guess I could do that, though. Maybe. We'll put it right there. Okay. And then we'll just right-click and right-click. New range successfully set. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to do an input routing node setting there. And I wonder if I could transfer it actually through this same network that's doing the water. Because I'm thinking that I could. Let me grab a bucket of this. And let's set down fluid filter, and we're going to say lava. Whoops. Shift right click and lava bucket. Okay, so let me go make an output routing node. We're going to try running this through the same network, so I only have to use one master node for, like, basically for fluid inputs. So water coming through. Oh yeah, I'm going to need redstone, glowstone, iron. And I will say this will probably eat through a little bit of wheel to fill up the tank initially, but our uses for lava are kind of limited. My main uses that come to mind for lava at the moment, the main reason I want these is, of course, the Cobbleworks. That's very, very important. But we're also going to be using lava quite a bit as we move into Steve's carts here soon. A combination of lava and water for that. So I am going to want lava there as well. So output routing node setting there, and we'll put our fluid filter on the downside, exporting lava. And then let's connect up this to this. And then let's connect that. We'll just connect it over to the output routing node. That's fine. And if we take a look here, we should maybe see... Okay, yeah, it doesn't really seem to be wanting to do that. I don't think it likes that. Okay, there we go. Now it is creating lava and it's pumping it into this tank. And we should see the wheel is probably... It's not really doing too much to the wheel. It's probably burning it as fast as it's presently using it. That's most likely. So if we pop over to here, now that lava's up and running, and it's basically just going to keep doing that until there's nowhere else that the lava can go, which will mean the tank is filled. So that means we don't have to do any kind of redstone or anything like that for this setup. And it's just make the serenade, do wheel through it, and there we go. And it's really not going to be consuming a whole lot of life points, chances are. Now if we take a look here, I mean, you could see it's not even putting a drain onto this system. And then if we pop over here, let's take a look. It's really not even draining that off. So 31 stacks. I think it took more basically just to fill up that initial chunk, honestly. It's like barely even like using anything. I was thinking it would consume a little bit of the wheel, but it may not even be consuming like any of the wheel. If it is consuming any wheel, it's such a minute amount that it really doesn't even matter at this point. I mean, you could throw like a stack of wheel in there and everything would be smooth sailing. Okay, it is. Yeah, see, the wheel just dropped a little bit. So it did consume a little bit of that, but we're already up to 113,000 millibuckets. So it's going to have that tank filled in no time. It is very, very efficient, fast lava production. Now, if you weren't using this if you weren't using the wheel to augment it, it would be 500 life points per bucket. But with this, I mean, it's reducing the life point cost. I mean, I've got really fast life point generation in that, but even still, I think we would probably fill it, maybe. But between the wheel and this automatically feeding in and stuff, it's just great. It's perfect. Okay, so we now have lava locked down. And I mean, like I said, this is going to run on its own. It's going to fill that up, and then whenever some gets drained from it, it's going to automatically fill it back up. There's no redstone or anything required for this. It should keep us stocked on lava pretty effectively. Okay, so then what I would like to do is let's go ahead, and I really need to make more output nodes. Maybe a few of them, because we're going to need them for this episode. So let me pop over here. Let me get the stuff together for that. I kind of wonder if we're ever going to figure out the actual, like, if it's ever going to be like that node is too far away, because it links forever. It really, really does. So, okay, I went ahead and made some master nodes as well. So the next thing I want to do is I want to put a input routing node right here, and we're going to say that this is the west side. And let me go ahead and that's filled already. I grab a bucket of that. And let's go ahead and say that the west side, fluid filter, And all these are set to water right now. Where I had them all set before. Okay, so lava bucket on the west side on the input routing node. And then we're going to put a master routing node. I've actually got these laid out around, kind of for decor purposes. Let's go ahead and put this one setting right... Actually, we'll put it right there. Connect this to that input routing node. You can see there's like node beams going all over the place. And then we're going to connect this master node to an output routing node that's going to be attached right down here onto this hopper. And we're going to say that up has a fluid filter. Remove that, add the lava bucket, and then we'll just attach it like so. And you can see it's starting to fill up with lava now. And that means it's going to be filling up the containment chalices. The containment chalice, which holds, about 24 buckets, I believe. So this water one's already filled up. Good stuff. And it seems like it's best to have just one input, one output, and a master when you're dealing with fluids. Of course, that's a new feature, a very, very new feature to the mod. So there are, I'm sure, still some kinks that need to be worked out. You can see that this is the input that's actually connected over to the water one. And I have the master routing node sitting right there that it connects to, and then it connects over like so. Okay, and so now what I want to do, now that we have automatic lava and water, we might as well go ahead and start up the Cobbleworks. Let me grab, actually, this obsidian chest. We're going to put this thing down, just sitting right down here. So this is going to be where all the items get collected up from the Cobbleworks, where it's producing. Now, eventually, this is going to have liquid starlight this episode, later on this episode. But for right now, it's just going to have the liquid and water that's running. And let me go grab a hopper, which I have some hoppers right over here. Or they are uppers, but let's go ahead and grab that, turn it into a hopper. And let's see, I've got some obsidian lying around right there. This stuff is super easy to mine with excavate. So I actually got this from when I was down mining, but you can also find it. Those little nether portals have a couple stacks. The ones that are just like set up around the world, they have a couple stacks of obsidian. So hopefully by next episode there won't be mobs spawning here. Because I'll get these walls up here finished and I'll get the lights put in. Hopefully all done by next episode. We'll see. Okay, so then if we pop up here and we turn on the Cobbleworks, let's do that. Let's get this thing running and producing the stone stuff, which will be cobblestone, smooth stone, obsidian. They're going to be being produced. And if we give this a minute, okay, you can see it's actually making stuff right now, but it's too high up. So I may actually have to raise the setup slightly. I wonder if I put the ender hopper on top of the chest, because it does have a decent range. So what if I put this setting right here? Okay, it's still too far to grab it. So let me grab that. Let me get... I'll set it up like up here then. Okay, and now it's within range. So I can just kind of raise this up. That'll be fine. So let's turn this back on. Let's go ahead and get it running. Because I hate making smooth stone. I always have to like smelt it and everything. Now we will add an automatic operation so that once cobblestone's filled, it's just going to get fed over to a furnace and smelted into smooth stone. But for right now, I just want it dumping into this obsidian chest. Okay, and then what I would like to do is I would like to set up actually an input routing node. And we're going to have this just setting on the obsidian chest. And we're going to leave it as is. It's going to grab everything that goes through the obsidian chest. Okay, it's already made some obsidian. That's awesome. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to connect this up. Let me grab that node location. And we're going to set up a... We're going to start setting up a storage sorting system. Right? And what we're going to do is... Let's pop over here. And I'm going to put a master routing node... I don't know if I want it on the outside of the building or the inside, because this is going to be the main sorting network that this is going to be connected to. So we're actually going to put it, I think, right here. And does that really connect all the way over here? If so, that is impressive. It is truly impressive. It's not showing a beam, which makes me think that maybe it's not actually connected. We're going to find out here in just a second. And then if we set this, let's see, how much obsidian is in here at the moment? 2 stacks and 10. So then what we can do is if we were to take and put an output routing node down right here, and we're going to say that the north side is going to be a priority of 4. We're not going to set it all the way to the end, or all the way at the start, or all the way at the back, because I may want things that are higher priority, I may want things that are lower priority than the drawers. So we're going to set it to 4 or 5. We'll set it to a 5. And we're going to link this over like so. Now, if we take a look, did it pull the obsidian out of this? It did. 2 stacks and 11. So it did connect all the way over to the castle from here, which is just great. I love it. And then we can still access the drawer from here. Technically, I could, I guess, let's actually put it right here. And we're going to say that the downside is a priority of 5. Let's do that instead. And connect that up. And let's take a look at smooth stone. We currently have 12 stacks and 15 smooth stone in here. So what we're going to do then is we're going to set an output routing node right here. We're going to set this to down priority of 5. And if we grab that and we connect it up, there's 12 stacks and 5, right? Now we have 12 stacks and 17. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing on these other two. We're going to grab this connection right here, and we're going to say downside priority 5, just so that we have all of our drawers connected up to this sorting system. So it's kind of like an early little age 3 automatic sorting system. Okay, so now it should be able to empty out the Cobbleworks. Now the only thing I think that the Cobbleworks will inevitably produce that's not going to be pulled out right now is the aquamarine shell. That's going to be sent up to the forge area, which we'll be working in there next episode. So that's fine. It doesn't produce enough aquamarine shell that it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta have this now. I gotta have this sorted out now. But you can see that it's keeping the obsidian chest emptied out. Now another thing that I would like to do is I would like to set up a manual system. So if we just make ourselves another obsidian chest here, and we're going to set this guy up right in here. We're going to set it like right here, I think. And if we set up an input routing node on top of this, and then all we got to do is grab that connection, and it connected to master. Did I never connect that other one? I don't think I did. I think I just connected it to that drawer. Yeah, this master routing node never got connected up to here. And I think that connection is connected up to our obsidian chest that we just set up. So let's go find out here. So if I was to pop down here, and I was to dump in all this obsidian, 50 obsidian, and you can see it just got pulled out somewhere. If I throw in nether bricks, it gets pulled out and it goes somewhere. If I throw in a chest, it gets pulled out and it goes somewhere. Okay, that's all being sent over into our sorting system. It's being sorted into the appropriate drawer controllers, because those only have one possible place that it can get dumped. Now, what I would like to do is, let's actually pop back over here, and I would like to set up a 2-sort chest. Now, there are mod filters, so what we'll probably do is set up, some mod filters and say, like, this chest over here is Twilight Forest. So we could set a mod filter that says Twilight Forest items go there, Between Land stuff goes there, Abyssal Craft stuff goes here. And then if we dump things in there and they didn't have a place in the drawers, they would go into the appropriate chest. Now the only thing is, some of this stuff, like, there's not an existing filter. Now if I take a look here, all we have is Fluid, Ore Dictionary, Mod, NBT, and Precise. So unless a chest is filled, it's just going to, we're not going to be able to set it to dump existing items like blocks and stairs and slabs and stuff like that. So that's one thing that makes me kind of somewhat weary about using the mod filters, because I use a lot of Twilight Forest blocks to build with, and I use a bit of Between Lands blocks, I use a bit of Abyssal Craft blocks. So those are just going to like fill up those chests pretty quick, I do imagine. But if we take a look at the obsidian, yeah, see there's almost 3 stacks in there now. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves another obsidian chest. And what I would like to do is I'd like to set up a 2-sort filter, or 2-sort chest. And we were to set up a chest, say, let's see, what is in this? Okay, we're going to say that this little area over here is going to be like our 2-sort area. And so what we'll do is we'll have a chest setting there, and we're going to say, we're going to have an output node setting right there. And we're going to say that the north side is a priority of 8. And we're also going to say that the south side is a priority of 8. And so what we're going to do, and let's actually grab one more chest. I'm going to go ahead and have the north and south faces having to sort chests. And I've got to come up with a sign that I want to use because I can do like some custom signs. And I'm thinking that I would like to have signs on all the chests. But if we take a look here, see there's like the bibliocraft, and I'm planning on doing frame signs, but I haven't decided exactly what kind of signs I want here and in the castle for specified chests and whatnot. So, but if we put a chest here, this will be the 2 sort chest. So now if we were to pop back over here and we were to throw in something that doesn't have a place to go. So right over here, let's throw in like all this node stuff, because that does not have a place that it can go. And you know what? I forgot to connect this. Forgot to connect this line up. But you'll notice it wasn't getting pulled out because it can't go into a drawer. It can't go anywhere in the system. So then what we can do is if we just take and connect up our 2 sort chests and connect those over, we should see, there we go. It's dumping all those routing items into these chests so that they're going to get sorted. Now technically I could do like a priority system, like it goes into a chest, then it gets sent down to another chest, and so the one at the end of the line is the one where things are going to fill up first, and then, you know, they're going to progressively go over and fill up. I might do something like that. But I think for right now this will be fine. Because what I'm wanting to do, I'm always having an issue with my inventory, right? And backpacks and stuff like that. And I would like to have chests around the base, in places, especially places that I'm working a lot. I'd like to have one, you know, in the blood magic area, one, maybe a few in the castle. I'd also like to have one inside of this warehouse, which I'm going to go ahead and set that up, so that I can just dump items into these. And if there's space in a drawer, they're going to go into the drawer. It's got a higher priority. So let's set up a dump chest down here, and I'm going to put it setting, you know, right over here would be good. And we'll say input routing node right there, and we're just going to snag that and just attach it up to our master routing node. And so then if I was to have, say, you know, a bunch of just stuff on me, and I come over here and I dump this into here, take a look, there's 11, almost 11 and a half stacks of smooth stone. If I was to dump like all this stuff into there, and we'll give it just a second, you'll notice it's automatically pulling all the items out. And if we take a look here, there's now 12 stacks again in the stone. You know, it's sorted the stuff that has a place within the drawer network to go because it's a higher priority. With those being only priority of 5, where these are priority of 8. And all of the node stuff has went into the 2 sort chests. So that's stuff that doesn't have a place within the chest system. And then of course I can use like precise item filters. So if I dump things that I want necessarily to go into a specific chest, then they're going to go into that chest. And then next up, what I would like to do is I'd like to pop over here to the light wells area. And I've got a couple light wells here that are running at the moment. I'm just going to grab like this one. And do I want to eventually have 2 or just 1? I think just 1 would be fine. Yeah, so I'm just going to grab the stuff for 1. We're going to set up our light wells really, really quick. Because I would like to have some, at least semi-automated system for liquid starlight. Now originally I was planning on doing a fully automated system. And I'll show you what my original plan was. Originally what I was thinking of doing was we were going to use laying of the filler, because I was thinking that would work, right? Like laying of the filler almost simulates a right click. I mean, it'll plant saplings and things like that. However, it does not work for the light wells, sadly. I was kind of banking on that, so we are going to have to wait until the next stage before we can actually fully automate light wells. But I'm going to try something. I'm going to set up input node and our light well. It does seem like it's connecting to the bottom of that, which is good. And then what we can do is we can take and let's actually connect this input routing node. And we're going to need to set up a master, of course, for this. And I'm thinking we're going to have the liquid storage for this. That was, my boots weren't working for some reason. We're going to have the liquid storage set up down here. This is pretty much like liquid storage central for the base. And we're going to have the liquid storage for this set up right down here, I think. And we'll set up a master routing node setting. Where do we want to put this at? We'll put it right over here. And we'll connect up, that's connected up to the light well. Let's go ahead and snag that. Now I'm going to need to set up another tank real quick. Okay, so there's our tank. And then we'll just have an... Let me dump this stuff into this chest. This chest is going to be so nice to have. Because I kill so many mobs up here. Generally. So, there we go. We're going to have an output node setting right up here. And we'll just set that down right there. And then let's connect this thing up. That. And that's connected to the master. And then what I would like to do is let's have... oh wait, I'm going to need to do fluid filters, right? So I've got this barrel right here filled up with liquid starlight. Let me grab a bucket of that. And let's see, we're going to set the downside fluid filter and then liquid starlight. And then right up here we're going to say the upside, there it is, and liquid starlight. And then all we have to do now is, I can't just dump that bucket in there. Okay. What we can do is we just need to throw something in here that's going to be devoured by that that light well. Let me get these. These were extra Avitas crystals that I made a bit back. And before we do that, let's actually connect this up. Let me get my linking tool. And I'm going to want to link our celestial collector crystal to our light well. So that's going to boost it, basically. And I could, let's see. Let's select that. Can I link that all the way over? Oh wow, it does link all the way over. Okay, well, that'll work. I was going to say I could use lenses to link it, but we'll have both of these linking over to the light well, and this should still have plenty of starlight during the day to craft and everything. And let's go ahead, and we're going to set it to night just because we get more starlight when it's nighttime. And we'll just pop that in there. Okay, so it's going to start producing liquid starlight for us, and it's not actually... Not for sure if it's going to want to automatically pull this stuff out or not. Attuned celestial crystals are definitely the best way to do this, but you can see it's producing a ton of liquid starlight. It's going to have to be semi-automated until the next stage, but once the next stage hits, we're going to fully automate it, and we're going to make it so that we don't even have to use rock crystals for liquid starlight production. We're going to produce it from our Cobbleworks, but for right now, we're going to have to do it this way. So this should all be connected, right? This is all connected up, I do believe. Starlight going down. I think it's going to have to go into a liquid hopper. If so, that's fine. And we'll go ahead and pull off this input routing node. Put our liquid hopper down right there. It's going to start filling up with liquid starlight. Yeah, it seems like it's keeping up well. And then we'll do an input routing node setting right here. We're going to say that this is the west side, and you're going to pull in liquid starlight, and then we'll just connect this up, and this should be all good then. It should be all that we need. So we'll just connect it up to that, and then we should see this going up. There we go. So it's steadily going up. I'm going to go ahead and empty this out into here. Okay, so we've got 24,000, and it's going to be steadily building up. I mean, that liquid starlight production from that attuned celestial crystal is quite a bit. Now, technically, I could set up something so that it stays nighttime whenever that's running. I'm not going to do that because it should be plenty of starlight that even during the day, it should be producing a lot from that attuned crystal. And then let's go ahead and set up an input routing node setting right here. That is the west face, and we're going to say west face, fluid filter, and we're going to set liquid starlight. I am going to have to make another master node, that's fine. And then over here we're going to set up another output node setting right there, and we're going to say that the up face is liquid starlight. Okay, now let me go make a quick master node real quick. And then we're just going to connect our master node up to that. And then we should see... oh yeah, I need to connect the master up real quick. There we go. We see Liquid Starlight is now moving into the system, and Liquid Starlight is now activating within the Cobbleworks. And so we should see... you can see sand is being made and stuff. Now, if it makes the shell, it's not going to get sent out to the system. But this is a nice way. We're going to be able to get all the stuff from this and have it, you know, pretty well fully automated. I mean, it is going to require that we drop a crystal in there every so often to keep the Liquid Starlight up. But honestly, the consumption is going to be a lot slower than the production. I almost think the crystal just broke because it's starting to drop, which shouldn't be the case if it's producing. Of course, the sun is starting to come up, so that could be tied to it. Yeah, it's still producing. It's just not producing as fast right now. So even with those two helping it out, it's still not as fast. But at the same time, it is trying to fill up a buffer right now. So that could actually be what it is. So 7280. Is this buffer filled yet? I bet it's not. I bet it's... Yeah, see, it's still draining at the moment. There we go. 16,000 millibuckets. And it's not dropping drastically at the moment. So if we take a look, you can see it's going up faster than it's consuming. Now we do have to make sure that there's a crystal in there. Like I said, once we hit the next stage, we'll fully automate it to the point that we don't even have to like feed crystals into this or anything. It's going to automatically keep it filled, and it's going to be using that aquamarine shell that's being produced. Now, since the most recent update, I'm not 100% sure if it's still going to produce the aquamarine shell. If it doesn't, that's going to cause a slight issue for us. But I think it should still produce it. Because I didn't notice anything in the changelogs or anything that make it so that it doesn't produce aquamarine shell. There wasn't any note that I saw about that. So if all goes well, it should still make that shell for us. So we'll get that automated in a way that it's always producing. It always stays filled with Liquid Starlight, and it does so using stuff produced by the Liquid Starlight. Of course, the four things that you can use within that is aquamarine resonant gems, rock crystals, and I can't think of the name of it now, the attune, or the celestial crystals. Then you can also attune them so you get more Liquid Starlight out of them. And honestly, probably using a 100 stat one probably wasn't the best idea. Honestly, your best bet is just using just a basic one. Okay, this has been running for a very long time. It has been a while since I last cut, and it's still on the same crystal. Like, this is still the very same crystal. So, I don't know. It's amazing how much Liquid Starlight this has created. Like, if you take a look here, we have 341,000 millibuckets presently of Liquid Starlight, all from the same crystal, and that's not even including that it had to fill a 16,000 millibucket buffer there, and then a 24,000 millibucket buffer there, and it's been running constantly, since I cut. So, it is quite incredible. So these are crystals. We're going to use these in just a second. They're just left over from the from when I was making crystals before. If we pop over here, let's actually pop right over here real quick. If we take a look, the shell, there is shell in the system that's been created. 26 aquamarine shell. So you can see it's already created a decent amount of that. It is still creating that. And you'll notice that sometimes items get pulled out of here, dumped into here that have a place to go. That's just, it happens, you know. Basically, it's just it's moving items, I guess, into this, and then it doesn't recognize the drawers for a second or something. But if we take a look here, we have almost 6 stacks of obsidian now. Also, I had to add an upgrade to this because we're about to hit 32 stacks of smooth stone, 176 stacks of cobblestone, almost 7 stacks of sand, and then we've got 16 stacks of ice. So, quite a bit of stuff that's been being produced. Now, I haven't obtained any rock crystal or anything from this. It'll pop into the sort chest if it does happen. I know at least before the most recent update it did create it, but because I know Callahan had gotten some, but I'm not for sure about since the most recent update. I have been trying to keep at night just to see how much we can actually produce from that. But one thing I want to do this episode before we end it out, because I know we're getting fairly close to wrapping up point. I don't really want to start any of our other big projects. We'll start those next episode. Mainly, it's going to be down in the blood magic areas where most of our next episode's going to be. Since we've got kind of the Cobbleworks, the liquid stuff all sorted out. There's some updates for blood magic that I want to do. But I do want to go ahead and make this excavate modifier because we have not done that yet. And it's fairly easy to craft 2 celestial crystals or attuned or rock crystals or however you want to do it. Platinum plate, 2 steel plates, any type of maze stone, Symarite, Octine, and Modularium, which we'll get into Modularium in just a second. I'm just going to take maze stone mosaic, I guess. And then we need the Octine and the Symarite, and then I'm going to have to make a platinum plate, 2 steel plates, which I've got plenty of steel. Being able to run... Oh, I forgot to show you guys something regarding the steel. I need to do that real quick. But being able to run steel effectively, like 12 per operation in that arc furnace is just, it's so good. It's so good. Like, I've already torn down that other blast furnace, if you noticed, because there's not really any point in it anymore. So it was kind of there to help speed up steel creation, and honestly it was hard to make steel with our old power setup. It's still going. I've been keeping an eye on it, but it's like it just doesn't stop. Like, it's produced so much liquid starlight. Like, it makes you want to set up like an always night system. Honestly, if I wasn't on a server, I would probably do like an always night setup, but for right now, since we're on a server, it's best that we don't. I mean, nobody's on right now, but I think most people are playing Continuum at the moment. So there's still a few of us that play on here, but I don't know. Oh, I already had steel plates made. Of course I did. Okay. So we've got most all of that. Yeah, I've got everything except the Modularium right now. Modularium is actually pretty easy to make. 1 piece of redstone, 1 piece of iron, 1 piece of aluminum is going to get us 2 ingots of Modularium. So aluminum, iron. And the best part is if I ever want to shut off the Cobbleworks, if I'm like, okay, I have enough stuff, hit that button and you'll notice that we shouldn't be creating anything else from here on out. It's going to stop. Because it shuts off the water and the lava. I don't have to shut off the liquid starlight because it can't interact with anything if those things are shut off by redstone. So as long as you have 2 of them shut off by redstone, it's fine. It's all good. And the sun is starting to come up. I'm going to go ahead and set it back to night. Nobody's on the server right now, so I don't mind keeping it nighttime. Just to see how much liquid starlight. Honestly, at this rate, it's going to fill up that tank before that crystal breaks. Like, it's amazing how much liquid starlight that one single crystal is making. Alright, so let's go ahead. Get that melted down. And I'm just going to pump it both out as plates. I don't know if there's any other use for... I mean, I know Modularium is used for a lot of this stuff. Oh, machine controllers. We're going to be using those soon. That's for the modular machinery stuff. Yeah, so it looks like mainly airship modules and stuff. The gear has no use right now. The rod has no use right now. The ingots have no use right now. Okay, so really it's all just plates is all that we're going to need. Which I may need to set this to automatically feed lava out to the smeltery. But we'll see. Alright, we'll go ahead and pump that out as plates. There we go. And now we've got everything we need to craft our ore excavation modifier. This does craft 25 at a time, for whatever reason. So there we go, advancement made, ore excavation. And I don't even know what I did with my Tinker's pick. I don't use it enough. I guess if I have an unbreakable pick that has ore excavation modifier on it, I'll tell you what, I don't actually have any modifiers on that. I do have modifiers on the hammer that are available. So I'll probably put it on the hammer for right now so that we can test it out and just see. And did we get that advancement? We did. Or excavation modifier advancement. Okay, let's pop over here. And let's drop this onto our hammer. So excavation, excavate 1 of 25. Allows this tool to be used with ore excavation. So can I just put 25 on there? Sure. Okay, I want to see if, does this use any kind of uses or anything like that? Let me repair this, and we're going to go excavate something. If it uses up like an excavate modifier, that's really not worth keeping. Like, I was thinking it would be like a permanent thing, but the fact that I can put 25 of them on there, is kind of bizarre. So I don't know. I just want to test and see if this is actually worth like putting on my pickaxe when I get a free modifier or not. You can see that there's lights that are starting to get built out right here. I forgot to mention that actually as well. I put the cave illuminator down right here. So it's starting to fill these caves underneath it with light sources. So that's what all those yellow lights are. It does take a while for it to fill out all of them though, so. Okay, so let's try this out. Let's break slate, for example. So if I hold the excavate button, there we go, it excavated all of that. And I don't know, I don't know if it's using up uses or not, or how this whole system works. Let me excavate a few things and then we'll see. So I guess I don't really need granite. If I could find like ferrocolite or something, that would be ideal. Slate's not bad because I do use slate a bit. And on the hammer, it's only going to excavate the block that you're actually pointing at. It's still going to break a 3x3, but then it's going to excavate from that block. Okay, the hammer just broke. Which I am planning on putting like unbreakable modifiers and upgrading that hammer at some point. If this excavation turns out to be good. If not, there's not a whole lot of point in it. Because I have a pick that's like super easy to repair that does excavation just fine on its own. So I don't know, we're gonna see. It still shows it having an excavate modifier on it. Yeah, it still says 25 out of 25, so maybe it just keeps working. Unless eventually it'll... I'm honestly wondering if it doesn't excavate up to 25 blocks or something. I don't know. I have no clue, because it did excavate more than that on a couple occasions. Maybe that's the strength of it. I don't know. We'll have to test that more. But it doesn't seem to be using up the excavate items, so I don't know. I have no clue at all. So anyways, let's pop over here. I want to show you what I did with the steel. I forgot to mention at the start of the episode. So it was literally like right after the last episode. The first time I went to... and let me go check on our crystal real quick. It's still producing. Which is about to be night, so... Or about to be day, so let me set it back to night. But still producing liquid starlight. Let's see, how much of a buffer have we built up in this? 407,000 millibuckets. Yeah, I'm honestly thinking it will fill up like a whole tank. By the time it's done. I mean, considering it had to fill up buffers and it's been running this whole time, it would definitely fill up a tank with one go of that. But over here, why are these doors not working? I don't know, my doors are like bugged. I'll have to reload. But what I ended up doing was I stuck right back here. There is actually an input node connected up back here. It's right back there on the back of this. Let me tell you what, I'm gonna do that. See, there's an input routing node just right attached to the back of the arc furnace. That's where the slag comes out at. We are eventually going to do automatic output from the front as well, which will be like our items. But right now, there we go. They're working again now. They were like totally bugged there for a minute. Right here is where the items would actually be output. But that's basically to keep all the slag out of it. And I set up a drawer over here because we had that extra slot. And I just put slag over here. Might as well. Now it's possible I may end up setting up slag up in the actual like foundry, forge area. But for right now, slag's right here. That's fine. And I'm just going to dump all this stuff into there and let it go. Okay, so if we take a look here, what do we got? 416,000 millibuckets in counting. I don't think that crystal's ever going to run out. Like, it just keeps going. It's like the Energizer Bunny of crystals. That's what we got going right now. I had to work on this Astral Sorcery area, but I'm trying to take it like floor by floor-ish. But I am happy to see that Aquamarine Shell is still being produced. I still don't have any rock crystals or anything like really special from that. That's okay. So anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. Did my fence really get broken right there? That had to have just recently happened as well. And I've been meaning to make a clipboard, because we can make a clipboard in H3. So I do want to make one of these and set it up with a to-do list and get rid of our old to-do list. So we will do that. I might do it between episodes or something. Basically just a lot of typing. Oh, and one other thing I want to do before we end up the episode, something I've been meaning to do for the last few episodes, and I keep forgetting, and it kind of falls under the miscellaneous category. Let's actually make ourselves a couple pieces of fiery ingots, and then let's pop over here. I need a blaze rod, because if you recall, there's one advancement from Twilight Forest that we never got, and that was equip a fiery tool and a piece of the fiery armor at the same time. And we couldn't make the fiery tool before because we didn't have a blaze rod, and I kept forgetting to do this. So let's actually knock this out. We're going to go ahead and make the sword, and there we go. And if we hold on to that, gallons of blood and tears. There we go. So that is pretty much like the last Twilight Forest advancement. I mean, that one we didn't get, but we did it. So I don't know, I think it's bugged. I know a few viewers said that they had it bugged too as well. And then these two aren't, I don't think they're completable at the moment. So that way we pretty much have the Twilight Forest stuff done, and which means also that all of our advancements are done at this point. I don't think anything else has been added. Well, there hasn't been another update. Oh wait. Dude, where's my biome? You'll need to seek out darkland biomes to continue your journey. Use the nature's compass to locate the nearest biome. Which is 4 pieces of wood, a flaked bone, and 4 sapling. Let's do that too. Because that advancement, I don't really need it. We can see what the biomes are, but I want to have all the advancements done, so yeah, we'll put that sword right in there. I think that's the last sword that I needed from... I'll have to go through and look, but I think it's the last sword that we didn't have from the Twilight Forest, so... Okay, let's pop over here. Let's do that real quick. Let's make our nature's compass and just stick it in a chest or something. Alright, so flake bone. Is that a flaked? Yeah, there we go. Flaked bone. And then we need, which is about to be day, I've got to go set it back to night. Alright, so nature's compass. There we go. Dude, where's my biome? And then we can, how does this work? Sort by name. Okay, so basically we can just set it to Darklands biomes. Found Darklands, and there's how far it is. Okay. So it just tells us how far the closest Darklands biome is. Which we don't really have much use for that anymore. I can actually make Darklands biomes at this point, so... Anyways, just so that we have the achievement done, there we go. And that finishes out everything in Age, Tutorial Age. And our crystal's still kicking away. Let's set it back to night again, and let's look again. I'm kind of addicted just to see how far this gets. 443,000 millibuckets of liquid starlight. So we only need about 100,000 more to fill up that tank, in addition to the buffers and how much it's been running through with the Cobbleworks. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, I mean, I have kept it nighttime most of the time. I have let it slip a few times, but... So anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point, so I am going to end it out here. Next episode, like I said, we're going to be doing the blood magic side of things. I'll keep an eye on that liquid starlight creation, see how far it actually ends up getting before it does finally break. It might be next episode, it might still be sitting there and the tank's been filled like the whole time. So, but we'll take a look at that next episode, and next episode we'll be doing a lot of blood magic. So working down there, I want to do some work with our what's going to be our third altar. Like I said, I've got pretty much all the runes prepped for it. I just need to lay it all out now. We're also going to be doing the 4 additional wheel types. So I will be building down in the blood magic area for a bit and setting up our next farms and everything for that. And I'm debating if I want to have all those farms in just one, within that one chunk. So have all 5 wheel types within one chunk growing. Really, there wouldn't be any downside to it, in truth. Honestly, our raw wheel production is already high enough that it seems like I could probably augment as many rituals as I wanted to and still have space. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to have 2 farms set up, kind of like the one that we already have 2 identical farms set up, and grow, between the 2, grow all 5 wheel types. Because it seems like that would be perfectly fine for what we need, so I think that's what we're going to do. So we'll get into those 4 additional wheel types, get the farms set up for those next episode, and kind of get those up and going, and I'll show you one way that's a little bit easier to kind of get that started and everything, I think. So we'll kind of get the ball rolling with those next episode and get those started farming and everything, which will be fun. And get some automation stuff down in the blood magic areas, kind of some blood magic cleanup, Because at this point, I mean, really, Astral Sorcery, for the most part, you know, we've covered most things. We're still using Astral Sorcery here and there, and we'll be automating some stuff later on and everything. Blood Magic is kind of the same way. We've pretty much covered all of Blood Magic. We're still using Blood Magic, but after next episode, where we wrap up stuff, I mean, for the most progression aspect of Blood Magic, we will be done. We've already got, you know, the 2 major altars that we need, and then we'll start working on automation altars. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.